At the time of writing this script, I am 6 days away from riding VelociCoaster in Hagrid's, and unfortunately for me, I'm pretty sure both of those are going to make my top 25. Shocker. So instead of making my top 25 and having it outdated within days, I decided I would wait to make that video until I've ridden those, and instead I'd make my look back at 2021. Now, to be honest, 2021 wasn't exactly the most exciting year. It was, however, a very sad year. There were a lot of accidents on the coaster world that led to injuries and deaths. I won't be talking about those specific cases, nor will I make another accident video out of respect for the victims, but just know that this year was quite possibly the worst year in history for accidents. I have a whole video on why that is, which you can watch after this video, or you might have already seen it. I don't know, whatever. I'm just rambling. Let's just get into the recap. The year started off pretty normal. Most of the parks were closed, and the few year-round parks in warmer areas were just doing their thing. People were hyped for the new rides. Around this time was when everyone was on the condo hype train that I never really fully boarded. The first test runs had shown up on YouTube a month before, and people were freaking out. Me personally, I thought it looked good, but not incredible. I don't know, I guess I just have a habit of underrating world-class Intamins. But fast forward a little, and now it's February, and Kentucky Kingdom has officially been sold to Hershey. To be honest, at this time, this seemed like pretty big news, but this might have just been because we're in the off season and everyone was antsy for any news. This didn't really end up doing anything to the park substantially, at least that I know of. Now we're going to take a big jump in time and skip to May. This is when things started to really ramp up with news, new coasters, and new coaster announcements. First off, we got an announcement that there would be a huge new record-breaking Grosslau coming to the US. There was a lot of speculation on where this could go, and some people were pretty confident that it would go to Cedar Point. This turned out to be Defiance at Glenwood Caverns, which is a little disappointing because we were all expecting Smiler 2.0, but instead we got a bigger version of these boardwalk-looking ass Gerstlauers. Regardless though, it'll be a good addition to the park as their headlining coaster. On May 8th, Conda finally opened to the public, and upon opening it got great reviews. Not incredible, but with this layout, no matter how slowly it runs, it can't really be bad. I mean, look at it. And then fast forward a couple days and RMC announces their new family coaster. This basically looks like the Gravity Group family coaster if RMC made it. Now, I'm pretty sure there hasn't been one built or even announced yet, so you could say this is RMC's first flop because all their other models were flying off the shelves, but give it time and I'm sure it'll sell a couple. It just won't be anywhere near as popular as the iBox or Raptor sales. Then on May 29th, Stunt Pilot opened to the public. This was the third RMC Raptor to open, and although it had the same layout, there were a few differences. First, they got rid of the pre-drop thing, and now it's just a flat curve. They also changed some of the profiling on the elements like the dive loop, so it's not as violent. To me, I think I would prefer Wonder Woman or Railblazer because their aggression just looks more appealing, but this also looks to offer a different experience, so I'm not really complaining. Still not enough for me to seriously consider going to Silver Road because it's just so far out of the way, but for people in the area, I'm sure it's a nice addition. Then we get into June, and this is where we get the big one. VelociCoaster. VelociCoaster did a couple weeks of past solar previews, and then on June 10th, it officially opened to the public to, you guessed it, rave reviews. This is most people's favorite coaster from this year, and to many, it's their favorite of all time. I'm really hyped to get on this again in like 6 days or something, and I'm sure there will be yet another VelociCoaster video coming out apologizing yet again. Now, July is a stacked month. Out of all the coaster months, this is usually the busiest, and this year was no exception. On the very first day of the month, the first day, Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland opened. Those who have ridden it say it is one of the greatest coasters ever built, and some even have it over VelociCoaster as the best coaster for this year. So yes, the flying snake dive on a spinning coaster lived up to the hype.
There is a flying snake dive on a spinning coaster. Mock just went bananas with this.
Then 2 weeks later, we had the opening of Jersey Devil. While I'd initially been super hyped thinking this would be one of the best coasters ever built, it didn't quite live up to the expectations. Most have said it's significantly slower than the other Raptors and only runs really well later in the day. I haven't been on it, but I will probably get on it next year to see for myself. But then a mere day later, Abysses at Energylandia opened. People have also said this is good, but not amazing. Similar to Conda, the elements don't seem to hit as hard as some had hoped, and it runs a little bit slower, but it's not a bad ride. It's just not the ride sent from heaven that people thought it would be. But obviously I haven't been on the ride, so I can't be super critical. To close out the month, we had the announcement of Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, the new dive coaster going to FiestaTexas. This has a beyond vertical drop and some cool looking elements, but if you want to know more about this, I have a whole video on it. Then come August, it's a pretty quiet month. This tends to be the case as most of the coasters have already opened in June or July, and the announcements came earlier in the summer or will come at IAAPA later this year. The only thing I can really remember is the announcement of Wicked Twister's closer, but I'm not even really sure if that was this month. September was a pretty quiet month too, with the only opening being Decepticoaster along with the rest of Universal Beijing. This is also when rumors and plans started to really gain traction about the massive new fun spot Atlanta RMC. People originally thought it would be an RMC family coaster, but then as soon as plans and blueprints leaked, people realized it would be much more. October came and went with pretty much nothing, and then came November with IAAPA. This is when we got the initial announcement for Airy Force 1, the new fun spot RMC I talked about earlier. I go in depth about this ride in my new for 2022 coasters, so if you want more on this, then go check that video out. I won't spoil the placement, but it is definitely ranked somewhat highly. One I didn't talk about though was Palindrome, the Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster with a vertical spike and a twisted drop. This is very unique for a Gerstlauer, and I really don't know how to feel about it quite yet, but once people start riding, we'll get a better grip of what this kind of ride is really like. And finally, we come to the December where the industry is basically dead. I mean, even the coaster community is kind of dead. I'm gonna be honest, this year we had some fire content in the first half, and then everyone kind of went quiet in the second half. OK Coasters, well, he just came back, but originally the script has said he was gone. Theme Park Media, gone. Talking Trimless, gone. Parks Bros, well, he's not gone, but he's on TikTok now. But still, even I don't really upload that much anymore. It is sad. I kind of dropped the ball towards the end of the year with my uploads. So this year, 2022, I'm gonna make it my goal to get 30 videos out, including this one, and you can hold me accountable to that. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up this video. I wish you all a happy New Year's, even though it already passed, and thank you for watching.